Hey, Marc Warnke, they call me the Goat Guy, and specifically I'm here today to talk about growth rates and pack goats and bottle feeding. Now we're just coming out of winter right now. These goats are probably the thinnest they're gonna be. These guys are 2-year-olds and they're twins. And the interesting part is my employee Shea and her husband Jeremy own this goat, which is this goat's twin. And they ran a little bit different milking or feeding of milk system. And so I wanted to speak to that because I've had people ask me this a ton. Is more better, and what are the results? Well, now we have a 2-year experiment where genetically we're as similar as we can get, and we can pay attention to the results. Now, just so you know, this goat, we just had him on the scale, weighs 142. This goat we had on the scale and he weighs 154. Now, if you'll look at the body types, again, being twins, the main difference, I believe, is that this is just more of an A-framey goat, where this goat has a little bit broader back. So he's getting his extra weight through his width. They're built very similarly. They're literally exactly the same height, and same legginess. Really general, almost exact goats. He's just carrying a little more body mass. Now, if you ask me, my preference is this goat, because this goat is carrying 10 pounds less, which makes him more efficient on essentially the same skeletal structure. So my preference would be here. Now, and these, by the way, this is Glitter and Blade's kids. So Glitter was the mother, and Blade are Slick Genetics La Mancha is their father, and their father is like 208 right now as a 3-year-old, and these guys again are in the 150-ish as 2-year-olds. So these are La Mancha Alpine crosses as well as their breeding. So what I want you to primarily pay attention to, that I find interesting, and that we've spent 2 years gathering the information on this and essentially running the same feeding program, but the main difference that we did was the milk. Now, what Shea and Jeremy did, which is what a lot of people do, is they believe when they're raising babies, by giving them more milk, that they're going to give them a better start and overall get better growth, which may be possible earlier, but I've always said that genetically they're going to even out over time, and in this circumstance, I'm right. Now, this is a very micro test. We'd have to test hundreds of goats to get accurate, but these two goats, this goat was fed 4 times a day, bottle fed 4 times a day, for the first month, 3 times a day for the second month, 2 times a day for the third month, and 1 time a day for the 4th month. This goat was fed 3 times a day for the first month, so 1 bottle feeding less, 2 times a day for the second month, and only 1 time a day for the third month, and then weaned, so a whole month less, and this is the result. So what we would take, he just unzipped my zipper. What we would take then as a conclusion from that is, at least in this test case scenario, they fed a lot more milk and they fed it for a whole month extra and didn't get any overall that we can see benefit from it 2 years later. So this is what I thought would happen. This is the test we wanted to run. And I would tell you that in my experience, feeding them more milk when they're babies doesn't make a bigger adult. Now, again, we have to test hundreds to truly know this, but here's evidence of my theory and what I believed to be true, and it's showing itself to be true, and we'll continue to run this test when applicable again. I also acknowledge, by the way, that genetically, genetically, this goat may have just been a little bit larger and overcame the positive nutrition they gave this goat, and genetically it could have become smaller. Hence why we need to test hundreds to get true results. But still, it's not like there's this huge variance, and there was a huge variance in the time and energy and money expended to feed that baby that much better the milk when they were young. So there's the conclusion. I do, by the way, want to invite you, I hope you find that helpful. We have this really great, if you're raising goats, you're raising babies, we have this free webinar that you can get on. It's called mygoatguide.com. So if you actually go to mygoatguide.com, you'll actually see that you can watch a nice little seminar that'll help you to learn about how to raise baby goats. And so I recommend that you go there and check that out. And any other information you need, raising goats, running pack goats, helping a goat to have a baby, all the different things, all those disciplines. That's why they call me the Goat Guy. I'm here to help you out with that. Marc Warnke signing out.